I think you know that, when you're on a hot mic in a radio station, there's some sort of a governor that keeps you from spitting expletives. And I mean, the FCC thing, Chip, is in your head. Um, but you're a lot freer on the podcast. You can kind of do more of, just say
Right.
whatever, like in the midst of some sort of passionate thing that you have to say, hey, there you are. Um, yeah, you can say whatever you want. It also just, I don't know, I feel like way more at ease in that format. So it's sort of freed me to feel more, less constrained and more free to say what I want, or, you know, throw down a wiseacre remark that part of the social media thing that evolved with us then are the Drew and Mike fans on social media. And they reaffirm you, like they'll say, hey, I heard you say this last night. So that atmosphere, it just fosters it. It's a big circle of
Yeah,
life, you might say,
I
but it
like
really
that.
does. They, confirm you, and you are validated by them, and you give them back what they give and all that. I feel like listeners on my wheel show are, they're part of the program. And some of the guys that contribute to the show, and sometimes women, um, on a daily basis call me. We're like
How
friends
do you
that I've
like to
never
that
met.
point? How do you, as a news person, it's not something you normally do unless you're talking to a newsmaker. But how are you enjoying working the phones into your show? That's a whole new
I
aspect,
love it.
I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, I would never do a show without talking to the people who are listening. I mean, you just feel, like untethered, like that Chinese balloon. You're just looming around in a room. And when you've got people calling in, you're connected then. And it's the greatest moment for me too when one of them reacts to something that I said and calls in. It's not like it was when we were doing the morning show that people would call in reaction to what you say, but there are still those kinds of people out there, and I hear from them, and it's like the greatest day I've ever had. When they call. I had a guy call me today who just wanted to request BTO because he
Oh,
used to listen to it with his dad. It reminded him of his dad, and he just happened to be the 10th caller in our free beer giveaway. And I'm like, well, I can give you a free beer too. And he goes, oh no, I don't want to do that. Can you give it to the next person?
oh my
He
gosh.
was like the sweetest person who didn't want to be a prize pig. And I'm like,
Wow.
you've won like two things in the past 2 years, dude. But
Yeah, that's
like talking to
funny.
people like that who have a great story to tell, like it used to be something I listened to my dad with, and it affected me. And when I hear those things, it really gets me. It's great. It humanizes radio, and it's so necessary.